just in about 1 minute, we shall begin. In the meantime, to a quick message to all our attendees as well, the ones who are listening into us on Zoom. We'll try to keep the session as interactive as possible. So if you have any thoughts, any questions, any comments, please feel free to put them out in the chat box here. We'll try to take up as many as possible. And a quick note to all my panelists as well. So once, maybe I'm talking to one of your other co-panelists and there are some questions in the chat box which you would like to answer via text, because that's another option here as well, because we might not be able to take all the questions. So you feel free to answer and give your perspective in a chat comment here in the chat box as well. So if you just allow me hardly 30 seconds and I will be back online and we'll take this up.
Absolutely.
Sure.
I think everybody's at home at this point of time, operating from home, I'm sure.
Smita is actually working from office, I think.
Yes.
Okay.
We have been working throughout the lockdown also. We were into essential services. So.
Yeah. True. Okay.
All right. So if you can allow me to begin now, my team gives me a cue that we are live from all our social media platforms as well. So I think it's the right time to begin the session. So a big hi, big welcome to all of you, all my panelists, all my attendees, all my viewers. Thank you for joining in once again. I'm very happy to welcome all of you in yet another Power Pack session led by Greytip HR on HR Virtual Leadership Conference. The topic today that we're going to be talking about is about using HR tech to navigate through the crisis of COVID-19 that we have. Today's conference is powered by ObserveNow. My name is Tanya Tikku, and I'm the editor-in-chief and co-founder of ObserveNow, India's first citizen journalism app. Also gives you information on various topics and helps you to boost your GK. You can check us out on Android. Please allow me to welcome all my panelists for today. We have Ms. Nivedita Nanda, who is the CHRO of Kaya Limited. Hi, Ms. Nivedita. We have Mr. Sukhpreet Sarwan Sandhu, who is the head of human resources at Spini. Hi, Sukhpreet.
Hey, everybody.
We have Ms. Smita MS, who's the head HR at Festo.
Hello, everybody.
We have Ms. Neeru Monga, who's the head HR at Deloitte. Hi, Neeru.
Hi, Tanya.
We've got Mr. Vinit Trivedi, who is CHRO at ToneTag. Hi, Vinit. So, as I said in the beginning, Rashmi, you can, I think, start off and lay the context for the discussion. I've shared media the co-host. You can share your screen and start off. Rashmi is just going to take 5 minutes to set the context for this, and then I'm going to jump in quickly with my questions. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Tanya. Hello, everyone. I'm Rashmi from greytHR. So I'm here to give you a small presentation on how greytHR as a product is helping us to navigate through this crisis today. So to begin with, let me just share my screen. Just a minute. So I hope all of you can see my screen there. All right. So here we go. So to start off with, as you all know, most modern businesses today need the tools with the help of which they can track their employee lifecycle activities, right? Not just that, they also want to get the deep insights with zero efforts. In other words, a simple HR system is must for all organizations, right? So greytHR is one such efficient tool which offers automatic and smart solutions and ensures it vanishes the concerns and makes your workplace a fun zone. I'm now sure you're very much curious to know what is this all about. So here I have divided the presentation into 6 different parts, where first I'll be talking about how important are these SaaS products today. And then I'll be giving you a brief introduction to what is this greytHR and how unique it is and what is the pricing all about and how happy is our customers. And if you're interested, how do you explore our greytHR tool? All right. So to begin with, I'd like to talk about the SaaS HRMS. First of all, as you all know, SaaS is nothing but a cloud software, right? In simple, that's how we can define it. So when you compare the SaaS products over our traditional on-premises software solutions, their advantages are lots. So it could be the question of installation. Your SaaS HRMS product has got the upper hand because it's that easy and your data is easily accessible too, especially these times during these pandemic times. Mostly our employees would want to get access to their information or anything else from anywhere at any time, right? So SaaS is one such tool which will give it out easily, and not just that, it is also cost effective because here we just pay for the resources what we use, right? And along with that, it has got superior data security. And if I go on talking about this, the list just goes on. So these are few important highlights, and now I would like to move on to how Great HR is playing a role here. So after we understand the significance of these SaaS HRMS, here I introduce greytHR, India's first ever fully integrated cloud-based HR and payroll software, which offers relevant and cost-effective software solutions. And you might be wondering, like, what is so great about HR, Rashmi? How is it unique from any other HRMS tools? So here the numbers itself speak, friends. So as you all can see, its powerful automation options and cost-effective nature has made it a preferred choice of over 9,000 brands all over the world. And it has also gained the reputation of processing around 10 lakh payslips on regular basis. And not just that, even in India, we have around 150 plus brands who are already using our greytHR tool, and they are quite happy about it. Now, if you ask me, okay, what greytHR has in it for me, Rashmi? So here are the modules, friends. It helps you carry out your entire employee lifecycle activities, maybe your employee onboarding, through your leave and attendance management till you carry out the full and final settlement of your employees. Everything is taken care. And to ensure that all of these activities are carried out efficiently and smoothly, we have one unique module, that is task and checklist, which is along with the tool there. And also to talk about the times, especially these pandemic COVID times, many companies are ensuring their survival by trying out various things, right? They are taking out various measures. It could be salary deferment, salary revision, or it could even be like the cost cutting in any means, right? So here what I'm trying to tell you here is everything that you're looking for. It could be your salary revision or even the COVID relief of PF that was announced by Government of India. Even that is incorporated here in greytHR. So everything is timely updated and relevant in greytHR. And if you ask me how great is your support, here we go, friends. We have this excellent support team who is always on the tip of the toes to provide the full-time support to the customers, and this is being validated by our customers as well. And this is the pricing plan. This is how cost effective we are, and we have our monthly subscription plans if you're interested to explore the greytHR. So you'll find details about these costs and everything in our website, that is www.greythr.com. And here is the list of our happy customers. In order to list them, these are quite a few, but we have many more than these. So please do visit our website www.greythr.com, and you'll find all the details there. And if you're curious to explore how greytHR actually works, we also have these 30 days free trial account sign up. So again, you can visit our website, just sign up there for free 30 days trial, and you can explore the product completely there. All right. So with this note, I'm going to end the presentation now. Thank you all for your time, and over to you, Tanya.
Thank you, Rashmi, and thank you for laying the context as well for the discussion. So, without wasting any more time, I'm going to quickly jump on to my first question. And from all of you, and that's in three parts actually. First, I would like for all of you to take 3 minutes each on this question and introduce yourself, introduce your company, and tell us, are you working from home or have you given a work from home option? If so, then for how long? And how is that going to pan out in the next 6 months? Then I want you to talk about what kind of HRMS tools right now are required to manage the work from home situation that almost all the corporates are dealing with in the foreseeable future. So I'm going to start with Smita because I can see you first on my screen. So please give us an answer for this. You're on mute. You're on mute. Mute.
Oh, sorry about that. Thanks for that, Tanya. And to introduce myself, I take care of the HR activities for Festo for the Global Production Center. And for us, it's yes, we are working, especially because we are a manufacturing unit. And even during the lockdown period, we were working because we were into the essential services. So
Right.
here we do have the work from option for the people like who can manage to work out of home, especially the technology engineering centers. So where we have the engineers, but predominantly for the shop floor activities, we have the people coming here on a daily basis and working. And for the management team, like we have the option to work out of home and also to come to work. So pretty much it's based on the meetings on how it has been like organized and how we take it, right? So
Have you
that's
leveled a couple of days, a number of days for work from home? Say 3 days a week, you can work from home, and then eventually you
correct.
have to come
So
back.
it's pretty much like every alternative day we are there in office, and we are there to see if there's any kind of things which we need to address personally, and otherwise we work out of home on the next day. So that's how currently it's been organized. To answer your question on that, and about the challenges,
Tools,
what
the tools,
challenges
HRMS tools that you would feel are required at this moment, or maybe you could talk about the ones that you're already using. Something
uh,
that a company like Greytip could also understand in terms of what is required right now, because you're the ones who create the demand for the situation for such tools. Talk about that.
Yes, as Rashmi was telling, yes, HRMS tool was the need of the hour because certainly when it comes to the employee services, that came handy for us, and we are using an HRMS tool in terms of like the employee self-management when it comes to the leave, when it comes to like updating whether they're working out of home, so that we can track whether people are working or if there are day off, because working out of home option is not very easy for us to track. So in that way, it has certainly enabled us to track the people availability at work. And also in terms of easing out the options as and when they have any kind of queries like the travel request, or even if they want to access the pay slips online, or even to look at what has been the kind of like deductions per for that month. So things have been kind of helping people now. We see that more visibility of people using this online tools more effectively compared to what it was in the prior days when they used to come to work. Awareness has been certainly created among the people on how online tools help, and certainly it has made life much easier.
Absolutely. If you could just also take another, let's say, 30 seconds and talk about uh, some things that are missing in the HRMS tools that organizations are using right now. Any expectations that have evolved because of this pandemic situation?
I think
So,
one
any hints
thing
on that?
Yeah, thanks for that. One thing I think which is really required is in terms of how you measure the productivity, especially when people are working out of home. How do you ensure that, okay, they're able to give us the delivered output, right? So
Right.
that is something which is missing. Certainly, the HRMS has a limitation with that. Will not be able to track the employee productivity. So that is something I think would be a need of the hour, looking at how the companies are looking to go forward with work from home option. And secondly,
Absolutely.
how you look at building the employee communication, right? Because certainly we are working out of the virtual world, employee communication becomes key. So how is that we keep that communication and the employee engagement on uh, virtually? Yeah. So I think these are
Absolutely.
some of the things which going forward would be a need of the hour
Need
when we
of
are
the hour.
considering for people to be working out of home. And also how agile we are, because when we were in an atmosphere where we used to be available at work, policies and procedures were different, but now we are getting into a more agile kind of an work environment. So as HR professionals, that would be one of the challenges, and also a motivating factor for us to really look at how we keep looking at changes and how fast we'll
Absolutely.
be able to communicate.
Absolutely. So communication as well as measuring employee productivity. I think these are the two things that should be at the top of the list for any HRMS tools, and that is your evolution that you've sort of understood at this point in time. Thank you for sharing those thoughts, Sweta. Can I quickly move on to you, Supreet, and have you give your introductory thoughts on this?
Great. My name is Sukhpreet. I take care of HR for Spinny. For those who've not heard about Spinny, is into the O2O space of pre-owned car, which was earlier, before this entire pandemic. I think it was getting a car and having a car was more to do with the desire. I think now it's getting into a necessity, is what we have seen as a change in the customer behavior, because now everybody wants to go and have their own vehicle for possible reasons to travel safely. About us, we were the first ones in our own space to announce permanent work from home. So we've announced the permanent work from home as soon as we realized the lockdown is getting extended.
So Supreet, when you talk about permanent work from home, just give a bit of a details on that.
I'll give the details. Yeah. So as of now, it's for the indefinite period. So we don't really anticipate. We had the office spaces. Right now we have retained one small office space that we recently took last year. Only for meetings. If somebody feels really tired of working from home, believe me, there are people who have reached us and stating that, as Vinay, when we were having conversation before that began, right, on some of the aspects that Vinay spoke, we got from the employees stating that, I really need to get out of my house and work from office. So for those and any kind of important meeting that is supposed to be planned, let's say certain audits or any other thing that is planned, where in the FaceTime, then I'm saying not the virtual but the physical.
You need some space.
Yes, you need some space, and we've done that. So this is confined only for the corporate workforce, for our field workforce. We need them to work from the field. So that comprises about a 30% population. They've been working from the field, really working hard to change the overall landscape, how we're working. So I think with that, we did anticipate certain changes, right? We majorly, as Smita rightly said, one of the aspects is just about communication, and I really add on to it. It's about transparency and communication. There are two things that you really need to maintain. Right? And while automation plays an important role in terms of defining the processes, make people adapt and adopt both over a period of time. But one thing that we need to really see as HR professionals whenever we look for any automation is how we are actually be able to track the communication, as she said rightly, right? How we're able to track the communication, and also allowing a very, very significant balance in how how we are bringing human touch to it. Right. So, sometimes it can't be 100% automated. They can't just talk to bots every day, right? They need a human, to address certain moods, right? Certain barometers that we need to test. I think those are a few things, of course, as we know that each product has its own limitations, right? Whatever we've been using these days, it's been able to, help us so far in terms of bringing that kind of requirement, at least meeting the requirement. To address the both kind of workforces that we've been dealing so far. I think it's more to do with, polls, surveys, mood checks. It's very important for us to see how we can track some of those moods, because again, working from home is something very new to more than, I would say.
What kind of evolutions are you sort of predicting that HRMS softwares would need to come up with to deal with a situation like yours, where you've announced an indefinite work from home?
I think
it's a long-term solution you would like to.
Yes, so right now, you rightly, a very great question that you put up. I think all the panelists and the other attendees can really ponder upon this thought. I think it's about how their overall engagement and how their overall contribution level in terms of their thought that is changing, right? And it is very important as HR leaders for us to foster an input-driven culture, right? And how we are able to link that with automation, I think that's a long-term approach because it needs to evolve like everyone else does. And second is how am I able, or how we are able to track their moods, right? So it should be a daily check. Is it supposed to be a weekly check-in? Is it supposed to be a monthly check-in? So I, as an HR professional or HR partners in my team, should be able to see that they have 100 people in their span or 30 people in their span, how their overall mood has changed and what are the interventions we need to run basis that, because they have to be tailor-made these days. Nothing can, you can go the way we were operating earlier. It has to be tailor-made, and we need to come out of our shells to start designing things which are highly tailor-made for people. I think this is what I can, highlight.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think very important. I think that's very important. You've got to assess the mood of the person as well if you're not physically meeting that person. So you've got to also understand the needs at a much deeper level of your employees and of the entire organization than you were trying to understand when you would physically go to someone's table and, just have a quick chat, which is no more the case now. especially for an organization who has given this kind of liberty to the workers.
And just to add on to it, one thing add on to it, no matter how hard we try to let go of that intuitive approach, it will sustain. That's how we human beings are. We'll have subjectivities in mind, no matter how objective we become. And we need to look at the subjectivities in a little more detailed way, is what I feel.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for those thoughts, Supreet. Can I move on to you, Nivedita, and have your opening statements and thoughts here?
Yeah, hi. So I'm Nivedita. I head the HR for Kaya Skin Clinic. We are present, we have almost 100 odd clinics in India and also Middle East, almost 56 clinics. So I manage both the regions. Definitely this is a time which has changed the way we think, the way we work, the way actually we conduct ourselves. COVID-19 has changed everything for us. We are into a retail and services business with doctors in, okay? And definitely we took a month, we shut down all our clinics just to think every people, it's a Marico baby. So one knows how Marico operates. So we are very, very people centered, centered business. We really look after people. So we just closed on March 18th, everything across the world we closed. We said, no, we are not going to operate, but definitely it hits the business. By April, we opened because Dubai opened up by April 15th. So we opened next, by May, we started opening our clinics in India. We took a lot of initiatives how to keep our employees and customers safe. So beautiful stuff we have done in terms of safety. But definitely the back end, we have taken a call to operate from home. In fact, it made us to rethink our business.
And have you given a definite timeline as to till when the working?
Till December, the back end will operate from home. And we are very clear that it is a trust which has to be on people. And believe me, the kind of work people have done, amazing work, the backend. We have a huge backend. We have zonal offices in Bangalore, in Calcutta, in Delhi. In fact, we were in co-working space. So we just gave up the co-working space. We didn't, we just thought, why do we need? People can operate from home. People can. So it gave us a lot of, reasons to rethink our business. In fact, we have reimagined our business, come out with new business lines during COVID. We opened a training academy during COVID because we have almost 30 trainers on our payroll. So we thought, why to sit at home? Why can't we do? Because we have a LMS system. And definitely the HR system has helped us a lot in terms of getting the people, knowing the people, if you ask me. And we operate on Microsoft Teams. So we are more connected with our people in terms of our calls, in terms of meetings. Our time, the way I manage my time, I don't think when I was in office, my team tells me all over the world that Nivedita, you give us more time now. Because you are not into your meeting starts on time, your meeting ends on time, you are very particular about things. The HRMS, if I just talk about, I have a lot of expectation from HRMS because you have to understand we are into retail and our incentive scheme, people are coming to the clinic or not, and we are across the country. A Guwahati clinic is operational or not, sitting here or in Calcutta is very difficult to know, or a place like Jammu, it's very difficult. It has helped us a lot in terms of streamlining a lot of HR processes.
Right.
It has helped us definitely in terms of our payroll, in terms of engagement. Smita had a question, how do we, in fact, the presentation we heard, how do you really engage with? We have a platform. But one thing which I miss, if you ask me, is a system integrated with your, ops system. That means you should have one system where you get your inputs and really find out the productivity. I can give an example. All of us have very different incentive scheme for our people, right? And it's a very tailor-made. You change every month. Maybe you reinvent your reward system. But getting the data from your operating system, getting into HRM, and doing the calculation is a big challenge for any HR people. If anybody has handled a payroll will understand, my system at this point of time doesn't give me those stuff where I can get all my input, because my rostering is done in another system. I wish I can do my rostering in my current HR system.
So an all integrated platform.
All integrated platform. And I have a LMS who again sits outside. Okay. So I would, my dream, HRMS would be an integrated system where I can calculate my, as Smita said, productivity I can find out, because we actually follow a lot of product. Our incentive system is based on productivity. Today, I get 3 reports from 3 different systems, and the people definitely, work on it for a while and come out. So what happens? Your month, July month incentive, the person gets in the middle of August. Why can't I just give, the same with the salary? I'm not able to give today. And the second thing is, we are able to use HRMS system very nicely because of the COVID. What happened? A lot of absenteeism happened, right? So I'm able to see the live reports in a clinic. So Bombay, we have 27 clinics. I really don't need, if clinic A, I don't have customer, I can move the one of the therapist, or a doctor to another clinic. So I'm able to see my data live, and I'm able to manage my resources so well. This we never used to do, let me tell you. But today with this COVID has helped us to have when morning I just open up, I can see I have an access. How many people have reported today, which I was never bothered as HR head. I know how many people are sick. I know how many people are gone on quarantine. I know exactly what is going to happen. How many customers are there. What happens today is I have 2 systems I need to see. If there are 5 customers planned to clinic A and I have 2 therapists, I'm able to, but maybe I should see my customers and,
absolutely. A live data platform is absolutely very necessary. I think that's something that maybe an HRMS organization like Greytip and many others that are out there could probably take notice, because this is a demand that is coming out in the COVID time.
But I think it's a time, to all of us have understood the importance of a system, which maybe the HR team was thinking, okay, it's just a system to help you. Now it's a requirement.
Now it's a requirement. Absolutely. Very beautifully put, Nivedita. Thank you very much for those thoughts. I will get back to you on that. Can I quickly till then move on to Vinay? And Vinay, can I have your opening statement and thoughts?
I think a lot of ground has already been covered, so I'll keep it pretty short as far as I can. For the ones who've not met me, I work with a fintech startup, which is StoneTag, based out of Bangalore. Just to give you a 1-sentence overview of what we do, we transfer data over sound wave from point A to point B. That could mean payments from point A to point B. That could mean purchases from point A to point B. It could mean multiple things. And I'm a part of the HR team. I lead HR function for StoneTag. This whole pandemic and how the systems, etc., have started working, and suddenly a lot of people talk about how systems are helpful, is and I draw this parallel. We would never trust people if they say they're working from home earlier. A lot of times people would look at them with suspicion, thinking, what is he up to? Is he looking for a job, or is there something else? Suddenly the trust factor has just gone 150%, because we didn't have a choice. We had to trust our people.
Yeah. Right.
The same with system. We used to do everything offline and then upload it in the system, because there is a system that is there that needs to work. Now you do not have a choice, because you're all working virtually, and that offline to online cannot happen. So that appreciation of the system that already existed is being utilized in a far more effective and an efficient manner. And because they're utilizing it in an effective and an efficient manner, they're also able to understand that systems work, and systems are created to help or enable organizations to deliver. So a lot of independent working has gained traction. A lot of micromanagers who would have been very jittery have suddenly stop being micromanagers, because they don't have a choice. They can't meet somebody and catch hold of them, or they can't say, okay, get the printout and come to my room, we'll have a discussion, and then you can go and upload the same thing back. So a lot of those things, fortunately, in a very unfortunate pandemic situation has made us, realize the full potential of. As far as HRMS systems are concerned, I think they've evolved way too far, Tanya. From a web-based HRMS tool, which only used to track attendance and possibly your performance management systems and your exit management, has now evolved to coming on your phone, and your app has now evolved to tracking where you are, tracking your well-being, has evolved to a lot of, I call it in the Maslow's need hierarchy theory. I think all your safety needs have been taken care of. Now the physiological needs are being taken care of. You can communicate through these tools. There used to be a lot of RNRs that were available on tools, which people would not take seriously. Now, suddenly, because everybody is working virtually, when you send that online communication, people appreciate it. So the tool is actually being used. So a lot of these things were already there. They're just being utilized now thanks to the pandemic.
Absolutely. So pandemic has acted as a catalyst here as well. So one quick question there again, Vinay. So what is the situation for the employees that don't tag? Are you still? I think there is some connectivity issue at Vinay's end. However, we'll move on to Neeru till then and maybe get back to Vinay on that. Neeru, please, your opening thoughts here.
Sure. So thank you, Tanya. So those of you who are meeting me for the first time, I've been working as an HR manager with Deloitte. Lockdown has been a different experience for us. When it was announced by the government, even Deloitte had announced the lockdown, right? In March last week, I think we announced the lockdown. So we do have a robust work from home policy, which has helped ensuring the business continuity even during the lockdown period. Our business continuity will never be a challenge even when lockdown will be lifted. We'll be looking at such policies such as which could help us facilitating the use of technology and bandwidth to make it easy for our employees. Then talking about HRMS, in my opinion, I think we need to build such an HRMS through which you can track employee safety, well-being, productivity, engagement, performance. These can be some components. For employee safety, our organization has gone an extra mile and has built a global application that tracks employees' health. The application comes with voice-activated messages with 4 options. Like I don't have COVID symptoms is one. Second option says I have mild symptoms, but I am unsure. I'm currently being tested for COVID is a third option. Fourth says I'm tested positive. So through these responses, we are able to track whether our employees are safe or not. Then moving on to another aspect, we also need to have our entire reopening plan ready. IT, admin, accounts, HR, all teams have to work in collaboration to figure out an automated plan with all sorts of communication that would be required. And then you will also have to have your internal as well as external communications being automated. They have to be inbuilt in HRMS itself. You cannot have signatures on a pen, paper anymore. These all have to be digitalized, right? And moving on to the training part, then your LMS modules also need to be automated. How would you keep your employees engaged, motivated, and how would you encourage them to be a part of learnings virtually is another thing that organizations have to look for. And then your HRMS should be able to track which all employees are engaged on a project, who all are on bench right now. What is the utilization percentage of your employees? You have to work on your virtual coaching models or mentoring models. How do you capture performance feedback? How do you do goal setting? How would you have connect with different stakeholders, with external and internal stakeholders, including leadership? How would you create metrics and data repository online through automated dashboards and reports? Then automation of your entire hiring process, onboarding, performance discussions, employee engagement activities, career pathing of employees, exit management processes. This entire gamut of HR processes, I think it has to be automated. So we do have, a lot of processes.
And all under one blanket as well. I think that's another important thing that you need to probably mention here as well, Neeru. I think all should be under one blanket, because otherwise it's all haphazard and scattered. And that's what I've heard from the HR heads that I have interacted so far as well. I think that's one of the major challenges that they're facing. Even in this session as well, I've heard that. And of course, the same sentiments have been echoed in many other HR panels that I've actually hosted. So, Neeru, I will get on that. Thank you very much for sharing your ideas here. Vinay, quick question back and what is the work from home situation policy at Tone Tag right now? Have you given a definite timing till when work from home will be done, or are you working from home? What is the situation right
We are sort
now?
of
Vinay, you're on mute.
we are sort of looking at December as an outer limit to see and reevaluate when do we go back to work. But as of now, I think we are happy working 100% virtually.
Yes. All right. So, that also, thanks, Vinay, for saying that as well, because that also lays ground for my next question. Very in as candid way as possible, I want to understand from you, policy makers here, what is the future of work now? Let's say 2025, or maybe let's not put any timeline to it. What is the future of work now? How do we actually go back to work? How do you see people go now, if I may say so? And how will that sort of change human resources as a strategic function in the organization? How would HR as a function also evolve? So I will go to Smita first on this. Smita, please can I have your thoughts? You're on mute. You're on mute.
Yeah, thanks for that, Tanya. I think, as Supreet said, going forward, the challenge would be on how you really look at the employee well-being, because certainly, the human element in terms of the talk to feel the well-being of an employee would be missing. So that would be one thing which we need to like evolve as HR professionals when we are looking at working in the virtual world. Right. And I think that would be the key aspect which we need to look at, and how we look at effectively using the digital platforms for connecting with people, how we make it more friendlier for the employees to see that they're supported in the virtual world. Is the second aspect, and the thought which I think all of us as HR professionals need to look at. And thirdly, it's like, how we look at automating certain things, which would be kind of like reducing the regular mundane work. Which also would be the need, because now we would be looking at working more effectively in terms of building the workforces, and also in an agile.
The talent pool will also increase. So do you see remote working? Do you think it's here to stay, and now it's only going to evolve virtually?
I think it's going to be evolving virtually for the businesses where they feel that they're able to like operate. But that's again like we need to take a good blend of it, because I'm sure not all the businesses can operate virtually. So it's a good blend of it where we look at, and certainly this would also bring in a lot of cost efficiency in the business models, where already companies have started talking about it. The way of people seeing, like what Vinay was telling, the trust factor is being established with the people who are working out of
Shut
home.
up. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so certainly there's a lot of evolution which is happening in terms of the way we are seeing the workforce changing.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you for your thoughts there. Smita, can I move on to you, Supreet, and have your thoughts? How do you see us going to work? And in your case as well, I think you should be very specific and talk about probably Spinny and many other organizations who have issued indefinite work from home. And it's very prevalent in startups as well. A lot of startups have said that. So, what is the future of work, and how does HR evolve as a function?
I look at it, I think the future is now, because it's all about how you plan your present, right? The uncertainties will certainly be there. I look at, I'm sure all of us talk about VUCA, we have read, we have written about all this. I think we should see all of us as fortunate that we are experiencing the real VUCA. And we are actually being the torch bearers, sailing through and letting people sail through this entire pandemic, which has created and helped us see the real uncertainties, not just what we have seen, what we have talked about, or what we have read in the past, but it's more to do with experiencing on a day in and a day out, right? So if you talk about how the future would be, if I just were to put it up, I think I'll divide it into two parts. Very, very practically speaking, one of the agilities, according to me, that will come out out of this entire experience that we are something on very similar to Vinay also said. I think it's more to do how the managers and how the team leads and how the typically leaders in the organization are able to manage remote workforce effectively. So I think one skill set that all of us need to drive in the organization is how someone as a first time manager or or a seasoned manager is managing the remote workforce, and how they are there are certain values enablers that organizations have, right, which talks about coaching and enabling these people and managing the workforce. I think everywhere now, wherever you see employees, there has to be a remote as a prefix getting added there. And if we foster that agility in the organizations, I think you talk about to 2025, I talk about 2050 as well, for that matter, this will be sustaining, because this is the real digitization. This is the real phase of digitization, right? Whether you talk about HRMS systems, everything is getting digitized. You wouldn't believe our product team has been able to do so much of functions. They brought so much of things online on the platform, which was not a part of the plan perhaps at the current stage. And this is the one uncertainty that we observed, that you don't know what will happen in future. And second is that one thing that we see that's going to evolve very, very, very soon is going to be managing the gig workers. I think this is supposed to be the second part, because in any industry you see, for example, let's say if it's a retail setup, or if it's a e-commerce or a beauty as a setup, or you talk about any essential services or any other unit, you would see that gig economy going to boost a lot. Absolutely. And with that, how we manage the gig economy workers or gig workers primarily, and try and just accumulate what they feel and weave it along with their current and future HR philosophies. I think these are the two important things which will certainly make us successful HR professionals, and at the end of the day, I think successful professionals per se.
Absolutely. Very important. Thank you very much for sharing that, Supreet. Can I move on to you, Nivedita, and have your thoughts here as well, please?
Yeah, I think, we all have to understand by 2025, when you put a date, I was thinking all the millennials are going to be CEOs, okay? So, or leadership positions. That means your work culture is very different what we see today, okay?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I feel lots of jobs will be lost, but we will not run out of jobs. That's the right word I would like to put. Will not run out of jobs.
Very important. Okay.
There will be new jobs which will be created, and people have to think.
So upgradation of skill set simultaneously is also required.
Yeah, and we'll have a lot of project-based gig culture will come in, which in fact, if you talk about, we are having a session on technology, but technology should be ready today, I feel. Believe me, I thought of, getting people on contract, and I couldn't do through the system today. I wanted to get some, there are housewives who are ready to spare 2 hours, 3 hours, right? But I couldn't do because my system is not allowing. But 2025, things will be very different. You need to be very clear, how you want to have your organization ready, which you should do today. Because the time.
So the path has to lay out right now. So you have to plan for 2025 right now.
Absolutely. Your entire culture will change. The way you look at a job will be absolutely contract. And I think all of us HR professionals will be okay
so
with
how does HR also evolve? What is your prediction for the evolution of HR?
Let me tell you, HR, what I was thinking, 2025 has changed now. All of a sudden, I see my team, I'll talk from my personal experience, the team is now spending more time on strategies. My junior most girl will come to me and tell, Nivedita, I think we should do this, so that she never used to think, let me tell you. She'll be always in the system, looking at creating resource reports, creating a productivity report, creating how many people have come. But today she doesn't do that. Her role has changed from a clerical role, okay, to a thinker role. I think that's the big change.
That's the evolution that
HR in this pandemic, I think, has become the true sense. Let's accept the fact, all of us will, agree with me. The moment you come to the position what we are in, we become the actual so-called business partners, or maybe one line down we'll have. But today, that young girl who has joined as a management trainee is thinking how to change stuff. Why it has happened? Because the dependence on the system, all of a sudden she has got into. I have been telling them, get into online, recruitment, get into they were all not ready. Who is going to do so much of, data entry? Who is going to do? They all are realizing today that this is the need of the hour, and their job has changed over a period of time. I think they are also enjoying. So the role of HR has changed, Tanya. It is going to evolve.
But it's going to evolve.
Yes. And this pandemic has taught a lot to the HR team, let me tell you.
Absolutely. I think one important takeaway from your conversation, from your thoughts here, was also the fact that your junior most person is now just not a data entry person.
Yes.
He or she is a thinker. I
Yes.
think that's the evolution that's going to change the whole function of human resources in an organization.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very important. Thank you very much for sharing that. Can I move on to you, Vinay, and have your thoughts on this?
You know, human civilization has been evolving for 5,000 years. I don't think just one pandemic is going to change the way the world operates. I think we are, we just like to call ourselves as change management agents, and we like to pride ourselves saying that so much has changed. When in reality, before 24th of March, all of this was anyways possible. It was just a mindset that had to be shifted. Nothing else, if you look at it. In my view, I think what will definitely change, and which is a positive, is logical thinking. If there are roles that can be performed virtually, the roles will be performed virtually. If there are roles that that needs to be performed in office or physical locations, like you can't manufacture medicines from your home, or you know, so a lot of those things will continue to operate physically. But the key word here is the future, and what's going to change or what's going to happen is we are now going to start thinking logically. And that is a great boon for HR teams to bring about or unleash a lot of changes that they envisioned to bring into organizations. Because somehow we look up to HR, like when the pandemic also started, everybody just looked up to HR saying, now tell us what we need to do. How do we motivate them? How do we treat them well? How do we track if they're working well or not? I mean, hello, none of us have gone through this. This is the first time in 100 years that we are hitting a pandemic. So, you know, we are all as new as you are, but we lived up to it, right? So I think logical thinking, which is a boon, and HR should definitely capitalize on it and evaluate what roles needs what kind of treatment. The good thing, you know, also is
absolutely, that's very important. Evaluate what roles need what kind of treatment. I think that's the key here.
The other thing is customer mindset, which would have expected you to come at their doorstep and service you, has also changed, which means that they are okay to do things virtually now. Earlier in BFSI, you could not have imagined banks not visiting a customer's house to get a loan done. But now everything is online and people are okay with it. So a lot of those things are good news, and we should just enjoy, chill a bit, not worry too much about the future, and go through this. That's what I would say.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for those thoughts, Vinay. Can I move on to you, Neeru, and please, if you could share your thoughts here.
Sure. Thank you, Tanya. So I would say the present time is going to be the new reality now, you know, and it will continue in future as well. Almost every organization will prefer remote working in future also. If our people will continue to work remotely, then processes will change, the ways of working will change, workplaces have changed already, and things are going to change even more, because this pandemic is not going to get over really soon. It is going to take a lot of time. And what will become more important are empathy, collaboration, innovation, connect with your teams, with your clients, employee productivity, employee well-being, emotional, mental, psychological, physical well-being, transparency, trust within the organization, with the leadership, digitalization and automation of the processes. I think these are going to be the buzzwords to decide our ways of working in future. And in my opinion, I look at the future of workplace from 3 dimensions. One would be the work, what can be automated in future, the workforce, who can do the work, and third will be the workplace, where is the work done, you know? So I think all the models and processes are going to revolve around these 3 dimensions in future. And work will most likely be the way it is right now. We are already moving towards future. Like Supreet just mentioned, we are in future, you know, the present is just like future itself. So this is how it is going to continue. Now. While it is unclear that when pandemic, So what I'm saying that while it is not, Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish your sentence.
So I'm just saying that while it is not clear that when pandemic will get over, what is certain is that work life will remain the same. You know, it's not going to come back to normal the way we used to live our lives before the pandemic happened. So the things are going to change big time. Yeah. And new
Absolutely. We
HR
can't
role
just go
is
back to the day when before the day right before pandemic started or right before the lockdown was announced, and our lives changed forever. I think I agree with you there, Neeru. And also the fact that we have to be very agile in terms of understanding our workforce and understanding the well-being of our organization as well as a whole is also very important to define the future of work here as well. So just a quick thought I wanted to understand from all of you here is while we're talking about future of work, do you think, let's say post December, by God's grace, if coronavirus actually dies and we are back on track and we can, go and meet people and hug our friends and go back to the zone, probably to some extent go back to the zone where we came from. So do you think now you would actually give your employees an option in terms of working from home, choosing an option from working from home or actually coming to the office? Or do you think you could now draft policies that would be better for not only organizations but also for the environment as a whole? Now, see, I've got two people from Bangalore here as well. So, let's say if your organization gives a 2-day work from office policy starting 2021, that would release so much traffic on the roads of Bangalore as well. So these are actually very important things which, when added up right from, let's say, Kashmir to Kanyakumari, I think that it makes a huge impact not only on our workforce, our work culture, also our environment. So you as HR leaders, are you planning such strategic decisions? Are you planning to make decisions which not only help your organization, but also our community, our country, and the planet as a whole? So, if quickly you could give me, each one of you could give me a thought like that on this.
Tanya, from my end, I think yes, certainly these options will be explored for future, irrespective of the pandemic situation being there or not, because this is something which is work now and will work for future. It's only a matter of like how we make it, enable the things to make it more effective, and what are the learnings through this and how we execute it.
But you have plans and action that are going to come into place,
yes,
that you maybe integrate in your plan of action for the coming year.
Yes,
so
that's right.
Possibility. Absolutely. Thank you very much for that thought. So please, can I move on to you and quickly get your thoughts? So please.
Yeah. So of course, as I said that, as of now, we have indefinite timeline to start operating from office. Again, in case things change, but from a very practical perspective, we don't anticipate, this to, go off the shoulder so soon, right? I think it's always good to have a very, positive and a hopeful mindset. But at the same time, we have to see the practical aspect of it as well. So it is something which is unseen, right? Even if we say that it is, we've gotten the cure, but we can't see it as well. So it's going to take its own time. Whilst if, as most of you would agree, whether it stays or not, we would like to offer both the options to people, right? I would rather say that, kind of how the productivity has been. I'm not too sure if I was just going through one article a few days ago. It stated that, the average number of hours that somebody gives, during this pandemic has increased to 25%. So, 25, people are going to work 25% more when you're working from home. So that, with that, it demands 25% more flexibility, 25% more benefits, 25% more other things for them. So hand in hand, I would say, of course, we'll evaluate the situation, how it, once we reach there, whether we need to go ahead and draft something which has an overall impact, not only on the organization, as you said, on the traffic, because it's everywhere, whether it's Bangalore, Gurgaon, or Delhi, or Noida for that matter, or maybe any other, environmental factor. We'll certainly see, as the situation moves for us.
So of course there are plans in action, and
because
of course
also it has also a direct link with the fact, because there is also the demand of the business model, right? So
of course that's the primary driver.
It is as dynamic as how your business model looks like.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for those thoughts. Can I move on to you, Nivedita, and quickly have your thoughts on this?
Luckily we had you had an option earlier, before even pandemic, 5 days you can work from home. That was already there as a policy. So we don't have to rethink about that, but definitely what we want to already, we all have been thinking how to make it more employee friendly. So we have clinics across the country. We are saying now, if you're a back-end person, actually, you don't have to really come to the head office or your zonal office. you really can operate. If you want to operate, you can operate from any of the clinic. Because clinics also has, a place where you can operate. So this is we never had thought of, to be very honest. I've been thinking why we didn't think earlier. People are coming from Kandivali, Borivali. My head office is in, Andheri East, which is very far. Why I never thought about it. So why can't they operate from? Two things will happen with this. They can connect with the front line, which is the best thing to happen, and they can really. HR already I have told them you really don't have to. The regional HR I've told them you need to operate from the clinic now. There is no point coming. It really develops a connect. So this is what we want to implement immediately. You can come to office because they need to also feel a little bit of that.
But there has to be like that 25% flexibility. Supreet mentioned here. If there is 25% productivity upgrade, so 25% flexibility also has to come.
Their home, office is your home. So if they all said, no, we want to come to the office, when the pandemic goes, because they feel that's their home. So I said, fine, you can come whenever you feel like. You don't have to come now. So after December, definitely we would like to that. I already have decided that we won't ask people to come to the office, head office every day. So I think this makes you feel little connected. I think this is a better thing to do according to me.
Absolutely.
You will know what's happening. You will meet customers. You will otherwise head office always do not have any connect with the front line. The regional team also do not have. The sales team anyway moves around. So I think we have already made up our mind to how to deal with
on that. Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you very much for those thoughts, Nivedita. Vinay, can I quickly move on to you and have your thoughts?
I think insofar as we are concerned, we no longer would lose candidates because they cannot relocate, because we will have that flexibility built in for people to work from maybe another location as well. We also will open up to gig workforce in a lot of roles, thereby giving opportunities to people who possibly are in tier 2, tier 3 towns, but are not able to relocate to other cities because it's expensive for them to lead a good life. So a lot
or some family, there's a lot of factors that come into place.
A lot of factors. So in that sense, I see a huge opportunity base opening up across the country with options that never existed earlier. Jobs being available. So
talent pool increases so much actually as well for hiring problems also solved to a lot of extent.
Yeah, absolutely. That's my 2 cents.
Thank you for sharing that, Vinay. Can I move on to you, Neeru, and quickly have your thought on that?
Tanya, so we already have work from home policy in place. Whenever somebody wants to work from home, so we allow our people to work. As an organization, we have a framework of connect, care, and develop. We focus a lot on employees' well-being, safety, and we have taken a lot of initiatives when it comes to employees' well-being and giving them the flexibility to work from anywhere that they want to. So I think the policies are going to revamp. I mean, the way the situation is shaping up now due to COVID, HR has to reinvent in a way that it builds and evolves an agile business operating model. It has to have that crisis management with the innovative practices in place. So we also might have to look at the possibility of bringing in gig workforce instead of full-time workers, like the previous panelists were also mentioning. So there will be changes, and moreover, we are also working on a couple of processes wherein we are looking at automation. For example, there are people who are not on any project right now. We might want to engage them on some learning platforms, maybe reskill them, or through IGP if we want to move them to some other departments and all. So we are looking at certain things right now. However, work from home is something that is not something new for us. We do have a policy already in place. Yeah.
Absolutely. So I think what I can get out of this whole discussion, my gist for, if I were to say for this discussion, is that I think one word that has come out very strongly is agility. And, that takes me back to Darwin's theory in 1808. He said this, that, it's not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent one. It's the one most responsive to change. I think that's what we've done as a species to fight this COVID-19 crisis, and what you guys as HR leaders have also done. quick evolution, that agility to move from, one day also a month of work from home to a complete indefinite work from home situation. And, even drafting policies and putting plans in place as to decide the future of human resources as well. I think that's what's going to drive us through the crisis. And my assumption for the future is, I think it echoes very well with mostly what you guys have said as well. I think it's the rise of the gig workforce that's going to come in, the rise of the talent pool that we are going to see as well here. And of course, it's very good to know from all you leaders here as well that you would be drafting policies, and you are actually working at some level to draft policies that not only benefit you as an organization, but us as a community and the entire planet as well. That being said, we are over our time now, so I will have to wrap up the session. But it was very interesting to talk to all of you. And once again, I want to thank all of you to take out your time and energy to come and speak to us and speak to my viewers as well, and help them understand the future of work and future of workplace and the future of our future, actually, our future in the coming time. So thank you very much. And if anyone would want to review the footage of this session, it's there on ObserveNow's Facebook page. If you want to share, if you want to go and review, you can go to our Facebook page and have a look. On that note, thank you very much from the team of Greytip HR and from the team of ObserveNow.
Thank you so much, Daniel.
Great. Thank you so much. Thanks, everybody. Take care. Stay safe.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. I hope you're all safe and have a great week ahead.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye, everyone.